In today's video, I'm going to be taking you to my favorite drugstore, which just happens to be in the cutest Gilmore Girls town in Connecticut. I hauled a bunch of new makeup when I was there, so I'm going to be showing that to you guys and doing a try on. But before we get into that, I just want to quickly show you guys around this town because it is so cute. You're going to love it. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Okay, so here we are in New Milford, Connecticut on the green in the center of town. This is widely believed to have been one of the main inspirations for the Gilmore Girls series. The creator, Amy Sherman, was vacationing in Washington Depot just a few miles away, and the resemblance to Stars Hollow I think is pretty incredible. Right now the gazebo is actually decorated for Christmas time and it's just gorgeous, all lit up at night. It's beautiful. Nordica Toys is my son's favorite toy store. We always try to buy toys here rather than ordering them online. They have a great selection. And then there's Bank Street. It's pretty empty right now because it's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's about 27 degrees outside, but usually by midday it's really busy with shoppers and people eating lunch in the cafes. It's just such a cute little town, and whenever I bring family or friends here from out of town, they often say they feel like they stepped right into the Gilmore Girls or they feel like they're in a Hallmark movie. And little New England towns like this are one of the things I really love about living in Connecticut. But there is one more reason that I come here, and that's because they have the best drugstore ever. Their CVS is incredible. Most of the ones near my house are not well lit, they're run down, they never have anything new, and they don't have brands like Flower Beauty or Essence, but this one has it all. I feel like I'm stepping into an Ulta store when I come in here. It's bright, it's spacious, it's well stocked, and they even have brands like Kimchi Chic and Beauty Bakery's Bite Size collection. So why don't we go ahead and just do a little bit of shopping. First, I noticed this nail brand called Nailtopia. They have really fun looking bottles. They're really interesting, and this bright green polish caught my eye. I think it's a super fun and unique shade, but honestly it was so hard to choose because they have so many beautiful colors in the range. I also wanted to grab a couple things from Flower Beauty. They've closed their website until January and they're rebranding in 2023, and I'm worried that some of my favorite products won't be around anymore, so I'm getting a backup of the Heat Wave bronzer, and I also want to get the blush balm in Bitten. I have the other colors, but I've always wanted to try this one. So let's throw that into my basket. They also have the Arches and Halos brow products here, so I'm gonna try their microblading pen in the shade Mocha Blonde. Other brands that they have here are Oma by Sharon C and Luna Magic, which is a brand I've actually never tried before. They also have Essence, Milani, and Real Techniques. And they also just have the regular classic drugstore brands that most CVS's have. But today I'm kind of interested in getting some things that I can't really get everywhere else. So I thought that this Snackaroons bronzer from the Beauty Bakery line looked really good. It seems like a pretty good color for me. I also like this bright pink blush that they have as well, so I'm gonna grab this one. And then from the Kimchi line, I think I'm gonna try this neutral palette. It's called Send Me Noodles. And also this Pearl Gone Wild highlighter looks really, really pretty. These heart-shaped blushes also look adorable. Definitely getting this. And then over on the other side of the makeup department, we have LA Girl, Joa, and Wet n Wild, and I really want to get another BB cream from Joa. I used mine almost all the way up a couple of years ago, and I also want to try their lash primer and mascara because those are supposed to be really good as well. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and check out and we'll head home and try everything on. All right guys, so I have my bag right here. I'm gonna try on as much of the products as I possibly can. There are some things that I have duplicates of, so I'll at least swatch everything so that you'll be able to see them up close and personal. I also want to make sure I try this nail polish, so I'll probably have to just insert a picture or something after the video is over. So I guess we'll just kind of dump everything out onto the table here and we'll see what we have. So First, maybe we'll start with brows. So this is the Arches and Halos Microblading Brow Pen. It's a 4-prong pen. I normally just use a regular brow pencil, but this one says that it's 24-hour smudge proof, which I really like. And I don't know, I'm not used to using these pen style things, so I'm probably gonna mess this up. Don't make fun of me. I also haven't styled my hair today yet. I slept in it. Like, I tried to do heatless curls, not really heatless curls, but heatless waves, where I just put my hair in a twist. So it made these little waves versus the big curls, but it was way more comfortable to sleep in. Okay, so this brow pencil has like these tiny little prongs that stick up, and it's supposed to just create these really natural hair-like strokes. This is the Mocha Blonde shade, which I've used in other Arches and Halos products, and I feel like it's a pretty good match for my brows. So this has little steps on the box. It says to angle the 4-prong tip across your brow to create natural hair-like strokes, and then start at the midsection of the brow, working toward the tail end with application to the front of the brow. Does that make sense? Oh, okay, I see what they're saying. So they said start in the middle and then work back across to the front, because typically to look really natural, you want your brows to be a little darker towards the middle to the end. For a blonde shade, this is actually pretty dark. I wonder if it'll lighten up when it dries. I hope so, because right now this is darker than my actual brow color. But it surprisingly does make it easy to create the hair-like strokes. I mean, it really does look natural because these little prongs sort of comb through the hairs that you already have, and it just kind of deposits the color while it's combing them. I don't know, my brows are a hot mess anyway. I overplucked them in the 90s. They don't have a lot of volume to them to begin with. And I know people like to say brows are sisters, not twins, but I feel like mine are more like a distant relative or something. Okay, so as far as creating hair-like strokes, I feel like this did a good job with that, but it just is a lot darker than I was expecting it to be. So like I said, I'm hoping that maybe it's just because it's wet and once it dries, it'll look a little bit closer to my natural color. I would hate to see somebody who actually has blonde hair and blonde brows buy this, because they're going to be in for a shock. I usually buy blonde, even though I'm not a natural blonde and my brows are darker than my regular hair color. I think blonde shades are normally a little bit cooler toned, whereas brown or medium brown is usually too warm for me, and my brows are more of an ashy brown. I feel like I need to get a spoolie or something and just kind of comb these out and see if I can take away a little bit of this color, because I feel like it's really dark. Okay, so this is the spoolie from my ABH Brow Wiz, and I'm just gonna, I don't know, try to soften this a little. Yeah, this really isn't softening the color at all, so I'm just gonna leave them for now. I get negative comments about my brows in just about every video anyway, so it's not really gonna be anything new. So anyway, I don't know if I should try eyeshadow first or if I should do foundation first. I might go with eyeshadow because I don't know if this brand has any fallout or if it's gonna make a mess that I have to clean up. So this is the 25 palette from Kimchi Chic. It's the Send Me Noodles palette. So I just wanna go ahead and insert a close-up of the palette, and I'll show you guys some swatches of it as well. As of right now, I haven't swatched it yet, so I don't know what the swatches are gonna look like, but it's a very, very neutral palette for the most part, and kind of leaning more toward the warm side, I would say. I see a couple of cool tones, but most of the shades are pretty warm brown tones, so I think I'm actually gonna try to stick with cool tones today since I'm wearing gray. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my Sigma eye primer first. This is in the shade Ignite. If this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, this is my favorite eyeshadow primer. I love how easy the stick format is. You just draw it on, blend it in, and you're good. Plus, it has some coverage and kind of cancels out all of the darkness, redness, spider veins, anything that's on your eyelids. So it creates a really flawless base for eyeshadow. All right, so for my crease shade, I think I'm gonna start with this light taupey shade right here in the top corner. And I'm gonna apply this with my Rephr number 14 brush. So far it doesn't seem like there's a lot of fallout with this. When I tapped my brush, hardly anything came off, which is a good thing. And the powder feels very velvety and soft. I feel like it's pretty pigmented. But even though it looked taupey in the pan, I feel like it's going on a little bit more rosy. Next, I'm just gonna blend with my BK Beauty 201 brush. Just get rid of any harsh edges. This is the best brush for doing that. It's really big and fluffy, so I always like to go in and just clean things up with this one. Next, I think I'm just gonna deepen that a little bit with this rosy tone matte right here. It's kind of like a mid-tone. And I'm just gonna apply this one a little bit further down, more toward my natural crease. I will say these shadows are applying really nicely. There's no fallout. They don't feel powdery. I don't know what they swatched like, but application is really nice, very high-end feeling. Next, I'm gonna apply this silvery gray shade to my lid. But first I'm going to put down a little bit of NYX glitter glue. This has sort of been my secret weapon lately. I love this stuff. Even if I'm not wearing a glittery eyeshadow, this is just the stickiest primer and it really helps shimmer shades to pop. So I just put that on and then just pop the shimmer shade right on top of it. I wouldn't try to put a matte shade on top of it because it's just going to stick to it and get muddy, but when it comes to a shimmer shade, I feel like the stickier the better. And this shade is actually very pretty. It's not super metallic. It's really more of a subtle shimmer. It's not a satin, it's a little bit more shimmery than that, but I think it's pretty subtle for the most part. This shade also feels very creamy and there was almost no fallout when I picked it up in the pan, which is really nice. Next, I just want to deepen the outer corner a little bit, so I'm going to pick up this dark shade right here and I'm going to use the BK Beauty 210 pencil brush. I'm just going to put this right here in the outer corner just to kind of add a little bit of lift. And then I'm just going to soften that with the Rephr number 14 brush again. So my first impression of this palette is that it has a really solid formula. It was easy to apply, just very basic everyday shadows. If you're somebody who has a ton of eyeshadows, it's probably going to be a little bit boring because I'm sure you have these shades a million times over. And I don't feel like the formula is so super spectacular that you have to have this. It's $28, so it's not inexpensive. But if you're somebody who really wears neutrals a lot and you like these more everyday shades and shades that are a little bit more on the subtle side and not super sparkly or metallic, then I think this might be a good option for you because, like I said, the formula applied beautifully. I think it's just not the most exciting palette in the world. Let's move on to mascara. So I got these two from Joa. This is the Lash Uprising Boosting Primer and then the actual Lash Uprising mascara. That was really hard to say for some reason. It says that the primer gives fuller, longer lashes, extends the wear of mascara, and conditions for healthier lashes. And if you haven't heard of Joa, they're only sold at CVS, but they also have their own website. You can order directly from there if you don't have a CVS near you. And their parent company is Kiss, that makes the false lashes. And this is supposed to be a K-beauty inspired line. Every product is made in Korea. Okay, so even though this product is white, I don't see any of the white color going onto my lashes like the L'Oreal tubing mascara or the Lancome lash primer. It just kind of disappears and it feels very creamy, like really hydrating. Actually, I probably should have opened the mascara first before I started doing that because I don't want the primer to dry. The Lash Uprising says 3 out of 4 women saw bold, full, clump-free volume and 96% saw visibly lifted, longer looking lashes. All right, so this has like an hourglass style wand, kind of similar to L'Oreal Lash Paradise. It seems like kind of more of a drier formula. Wow, this actually seems to be adding a lot of volume and it's not clumpy, which is really nice. It's not adding as much length, it's lengthening a little bit, but I would say it's mostly a volumizing mascara. But I like that it's not clumpy. It's really soft and it's just combing through my lashes really well. I think my lashes definitely look a bit fuller on this side. I like it. I don't know what it's like without the primer. Should we do the other eye without the primer? I think we should, just to kind of test them and see. I want to know if my lashes will look the same on this eye as they do on this one, like if the primer adds length. And I also would like to know if the primer does really extend the wear. It would be interesting to see if this eye smudges before that one, but I'm hoping that they just don't smudge at all. That would be ideal. Okay, so I don't really notice a lot of difference between one eye and the other. I feel like my lashes look pretty much the same. There might just be like the slightest bit more thickness or maybe length on this side. It's weird because on the primer side, it almost seems like my lashes curl up a little bit more than on this side. Let me just scoot a little bit closer so you guys can see. I mean, I don't know if it's a big enough difference to warrant buying the primer, unless of course it extends the wear. I think that's really important for a mascara. So I don't know. I like the mascara. I feel like it does a good job on my lashes. I just don't know if the primer is actually worth buying. We'll have to see. Moving on, for foundation, we have the Joa Perfect Complexion BB Cream. So I had this a while ago when it first came out. It was probably close to 2 years ago. ago, but I liked the formula so much I wanted to get it again. So this is in the shade Vanilla, and this is the color that I had last time, and I felt like it was maybe just a little too dark for my skin tone, but then the lightest shade, like this is the second to lightest shade, the lightest shade looks way too light, and whenever I use a foundation that's too light, I feel like it enhances texture and just doesn't make my skin look smooth. I don't know why, but I feel like this BB cream has really great coverage, but it looks super natural. It's very skin-like. It doesn't leave you with a shiny or glowy appearance, but it's also not too matte either, where it makes your skin look dry. So here's a quick close-up, and you can see how the coverage is and what it looks like sitting on the skin. I think it's one of the most natural looking foundations I've tried, which is why I used up almost the entire tube last time. I'm so glad that I repurchased this because I really did miss it a lot. And it's such an easy formula too, because it just really feels like you're applying a moisturizer. So I just put it on with my fingers. You can use a sponge or a brush, obviously, but it's one of those formulas that's very forgiving. So you can just apply it quickly if you need to with your fingers and you're good to go. I also purchased a new JOA Perfect Complexion Eye Serum Concealer. This is one of my favorite concealers of all time. It has the sponge tip applicator, and it looks a lot like the Maybelline one, but I like this formula so much more. The Maybelline one can sometimes settle in fine lines or look a little bit patchy, and this one somehow almost makes my under eye area look smoother when I apply it. I don't know how they do it, but this is the lightest shade, FC10, and it says very fair with cool undertones. And this is another product that is so natural, I just like to blend it in with my fingers. It's very thin and weightless because it's a serum concealer, so I wouldn't say it's full coverage, but on most days I don't really need full coverage. It's just a really brightening formula, which makes it great for your under eyes. All right, moving on, I got two bronzers. I got my Flower Beauty Heat Wave bronzer. This is just a backup because the one that I have is many years old, so I wanted to just pick up another one, and this is the Most Beautiful bronzer. It's a baked formula, and this color, Sunrise, which is the lightest one, is just the prettiest rosy tone bronzer. So if you have a pink or cool undertone to your skin like I do, this just looks super natural. It's not overly orange or yellow based like a lot of bronzers are. So I just wanted to show you that really quick, but since I already know what this bronzer is like, I want to try the one from Beauty Bakery on. This is the Snackaroons bronzer, and I got it in the shade House Blend. And this is the lightest color option that they had. I think they had 3 different ones, and it was so hard to tell just in the store with the glare from the lights on the top of the compact. It was hard to see. So I hope that this color is all right, and I'm gonna be applying it with my Sigma Ultimate bronzer brush. This is like a giant bronzer brush. It's my favorite. I guess I'm gonna start with my cheeks. Oh, all right, it's actually not too light at all. That's really nice. And I'm just gonna do like the number 3 where I go like this, forehead, cheek, chin. I probably should have put my hair up. It's kind of getting in the way. I'm probably getting bronzer in it, but this color is actually beautiful. I don't even know if it's going to pick up on camera or if you can see a difference between the side that I put it on and this side, but in person, this bronzer is so natural looking. It's not too light at all. It's just the right amount of color before it's gonna start to look obvious like I have a bronzer on. All right, I actually really like this, especially because when I first saw the color, it looks a little bit cooler toned, but it's not a pink or rosy bronzer, which is what I normally like. But despite that, this color still looks really natural on me, which is great. Yeah, so the bronzer was definitely a hit, but now let's get into some blushes. I have 3 different blushes that I got, so it's gonna be really hard to choose. I have the Blush Bomb from Flower Beauty in the shade Bitten, which I thought would be a really good color for those like I'm cold looks that I've been seeing all over. It looks like the type of color that your cheeks flush, like when you come in from outside when it's cold out. I also got the Beauty Bakery Snackaroons blush, and this is in the shade Kiss My Cheeks. It's a really, really bright pink. And then I also got the Kimchi blush in the shade Cheeky, and this comes in such pretty heart-shaped packaging, and it's also a dual blush, so it has a split pan. It's actually raised up, so it sort of looks like it might be a baked formula as well. I really want to try them all. I don't know what to do. I was going to put the Blush Bomb down, but then if I put these on top of it, the color's not going to look the same. I think because I haven't tried many things from Kimchi or Beauty Bakery, maybe I'll do like one on one cheek and one on the other. I feel like the colors are sort of similar, and if they are different, maybe I'll just mix them at the end so that it looks a little bit more even, but I really want to see what these colors are like. So let's try the Kimchi on one cheek, and I'm just gonna swirl these 2 colors together. They both look like they're gonna be sort of a really bright pink. So I'll put the Kimchi one over here. And this is my Refer blush brush, by the way. This is the number 5 brush. Oh wow, I love how this is blending in. If you've ever tried the baked blush from Laura Geller, you know how like seamless they are and they almost kind of melt in and become one with your skin. They don't look like a powder sitting on top. That's exactly what this is like, except unlike the Laura Geller ones, this one doesn't have shimmer. So it's a matte blush that is the most seamless blush ever. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on camera, but when I look really close in the mirror right in front of me, it looks like the color is coming from within my skin. I can't see any powder sitting on top, which normally you can if you look at blush up close. That is so beautiful. This blush was a little bit more on the expensive side for a drugstore blush. I think it was like around $14, but if you compare it to a high-end blush, that's $30. I mean, it easily compares to a high-end blush. Oh my gosh, I really love it. Okay, so next let's try the Beauty Bakery Snackaroons blush. And again, this is in the shade Kiss My Cheeks. I really like the bronzer, so I'm hoping that I like the blush too. Okay, this one is way more pigmented than the kimchi one. Look at it on my brush. It just looks like a super hot pink. So I'm gonna just flip it around and try to go really easy with it. This one's not blending quite as well as the kimchi one did. It's just kind of sitting right in this spot right here. I'm afraid to add more color. I'm just gonna put a little bit more. I mean, it's definitely blending out. It just takes a little bit more effort than the kimchi one did. And I think it's pretty similar in terms of the color. It's another bright pink, but I don't know. I just like this one better. I feel like this looks so natural. Not that the Beauty Bakery one is bad by any means. It's really nice, but I honestly just can't get over this one. I want to go back and buy the other colors. It's so pretty. Also from Kimchi, I bought a highlighter. This is the Pearl Gone Wild Out of This World Brilliance Highlighter. And this looked like it just came in one shade, Hope. So it comes in, again, the beautiful heart-shaped packaging. It's also a baked formula, and it looks like it's going to be a duochrome. It's white, but it kind of shifts to purple a little bit. That looks like it's going to be so pretty. I'm just going to pick it up with my Refer highlighter brush. This is the number 20. Okay, so initially, I'm mainly getting sparkle on my cheeks, but it's a little bit on the glittery side, which I'm not crazy about, to be honest with you. The name says Pearl Gone Wild, and I was thinking it was more of like a pearly formula, but it's definitely very icy, very glittery. So I'll try to show you guys up close. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it on camera, but I don't like it quite as much as the blush. I think they did have other highlighters, so maybe they have some that aren't quite this glittery and bold. I'll have to check the next time I go back, but all right, that's the highlighter. And then the last two products I got were lip glosses, also from Kimchi. One of them is Gloss Over Gloss, and this is supposed to be like a gloss topper or like a very sheer gloss, and then the High Key gloss is more of a full pigment gloss. So the High Key gloss is in the shade Buff, and this one is supposed to be a full coverage lip gloss, basically like a liquid lipstick but with a shiny finish. So let's try this one out first. It doesn't seem to have any scent to it at all. Oh wow, that is super full coverage. Okay, so this is definitely like a liquid lipstick, but just with a glossy finish. I like the color, but I don't know how I feel about this type of formula because usually glosses get all over everything, they transfer. I can see that happening with this, and normally it's fine because the gloss is so sheer that if it does transfer on your teeth or your face, you're not really gonna notice it. But with a full pigment product like this, I feel like you definitely would. I'm just gonna wipe this off quick and then try the other gloss. Oh, but actually, I just kind of blotted my lips with the tissue, and this left the most beautiful stain behind. I think I would actually do that every time I wear this because I wasn't crazy about it as a gloss, but this has a very natural look to it. It looks like it's just my natural lips that are this color. I also want to try this other gloss. This is the Gloss Over Gloss, again in the shade Nectar. And this one says that it's a stunning shimmer gloss that you can wear alone or layer over your favorite lipsticks or gloss to revive your look. It transforms any boring lipstick into a party on your lips. This item is synthetic fragrance free. Oh wow, look at how shiny that is. It has almost like a metallic finish. Okay, so this is almost too shiny, too metallic for me. It might look okay on camera, I'm not sure, but in real life, this basically enhances every line that's in my lips. It just draws attention to all of that and it looks glittery. So right off the bat, I can say I'm not really a big fan of this. It reminds me of the frosty lipsticks that people wore in the 80s. So I think I'm just gonna take this off and put the other one back on. All right, so here's the final look. I think we had some big hits today, also a few misses. So let's talk about the things that didn't really work out. The first one being this really shimmery lip gloss that we just talked about. Not really a big fan of that. Also, the Kimchi Pearl Highlighter. I felt like this was a little bit too glittery for me. I don't think it's a bad product. It's just a personal preference thing. And I'm also not quite sure about this JOA Lash Primer yet. I'll have to update you guys down in the comments. Like I'll pin a comment and just let you know how everything wore throughout the day. I would like to do a wear test, but seeing as how it's Vlogmas and I have to film every single day, I have to edit this video right after I'm done and get working on that. So I won't be able to take the time to do a wear test later, but I'll still be sure to update you on all of the products and how they wore in the comments of the video. So I may change my mind on this if it helps the mascara to wear a little bit longer, but I don't feel like it did a whole lot as far as making my lashes look bigger, maybe just a little bit. But as far as the hits go, my favorite product of the day has to be this Kimchi blush. This is so beautiful. I definitely need more of these. Also, I liked the Beauty Bakery blush. I thought that was really pretty. It's a gorgeous color. And the bronzer, this really surprised me. It's super natural looking and I love the color. The Kimchi palette has a very nice formula. Again, it's a little bit of a boring color story. I feel like I have a lot of palettes just like this, but if you don't have a lot of neutral palettes, or even if you do, but you just like a more subtle shimmer shade and something not as sparkly, I think you'll enjoy this a lot. And then we have the JOA complexion products, which I've used before and really love these. I think they're awesome. Oh, and the Arches and Halos brow product. I feel like I need to put this in the fails category because I don't know, I just feel like my brows look too dark. I think the product itself is a good concept. The color is just completely wrong. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming along to my favorite drugstore with me and trying on all these products. I really appreciate your time so much that you take time out of your day to spend it here with me. And also, if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'm going to be hopefully posting a video every day in December. We'll see how it goes. And if you have some extra time and you're bored and you'd like to binge watch some other things on my channel, I'll go ahead and pop something up right here for you to watch. I really appreciate all of your support. So thank you guys so much and I will see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.